As we look at this play here, I know Luka Doncic is the main guy, but for now, I want you to focus on everyone near the top of your screen. Daniel Gafford is coming to set the pin down for Spencer Dinwiddie, or so you thought. This here causes confusion in the defense when Dinwiddie cuts back towards the middle, because as you can see, Andrew Nembhard is hung up on Gafford. At this moment, Klay Thompson is going to run off the screen as well, so he can be an option for Luka to send the pass to. But would you look right here, Spencer Dinwiddie is wide open now due to the master deception on this play, which makes for an easy pass from Doncic right down the middle for a bucket inside. That play right there wasn't your typical highlight that would show up on your SportsCenter top 10, but guess what? Plays like that are what make the game of basketball beautiful. Our NBA Commissioner Adam Silver stood at the podium and confidently said that the NBA is just a highlight league
that people can essentially consume for free. I mean, this is very much a highlights-based sport. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, any service, the New York Times for that matter. There's an enormous amount of content out there. YouTube, by another example.
And that for the fans that can't shell out $100+ a month to watch all the games, well, you're broke. Just go ahead and watch YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram and enjoy the clips there. If you ask me, that's a slap in the face to all enjoyers of the sport, and this builds on my video about the NBA media being in shambles, as now we have the league leader degrading our sport, and above that, actual knowledge of hoops is getting buried when all we want to do is show you the beauty that lies beneath all the drama. Like sure, I get it, these plays where guys throw down nasty dunks, crazy crossovers, and parking lot threes is what sells the game at a massive scale, but without all the plays that come in between that, there would be no highlight plays to begin with. Take a look here. With Giannis being the man on the weak side, his responsibility is to be all the way in help side in case Tyrese Halliburton gets to the rim. Now this here isn't anything flashy, as this is simply just fundamentals of the game. With Giannis being quick to rotate over, this stops Halliburton from continuing his attempt, and this is what I mean by all the little things leading to the highlights. Because if Giannis doesn't slide over, Tyrese can easily go for the layup. But with that not happening, Tyrese is forced to send it over to Mathurin, who cuts to the rim, and now here comes the highlight block. That eventually leads into a highlight off the glass slam. When I tell you I love the game of basketball, it's not just because the plays that make me necessarily jump out my seat. It's these times where Deuce McBride gets backscreened by Murray, and with the defense so in sync, they seamlessly switch this with Mikal Bridges taking Michael Porter Jr. and getting a hand in the passing lane. So now when Jokic initiates a handoff with Murray, Deuce is right there trailing behind, making him curl around instead of stopping for a three. Jalen Brunson then stunts him momentarily to give Murray something to think about. Cat slides down to be there for a drive, and then OG Anunoby is the one who slides over at last minute to contest this. Yeah, there was so much going on in one play that eventually made it tougher for Murray to score, and these are things you certainly won't always see on SportsCenter or Twitter. Like, I understand that people think defense is boring, and trust me, we will get to the offense in a second here, but the notion that this league has no defense and that people can just score so easily is totally false. As Steph brings the ball up the floor here, me and you both know that when Draymond is coming up the floor to set a screen, Steph will either throw it over the top to let Draymond be the secondary playmaker in this situation, or for a different option, they'll send it across the court, so now Trayce Jackson has a much better angle to feed Draymond. Now this right here is something that cooks the defense time and time again, but when you've studied the film and pay attention to actions other teams run, this is where you have Najee Marshall immediately switching on to Draymond instead of chasing Steph like most people do, and then if he was to miss the switch, then you have Luka Doncic on the backside ready to defend the paint the best he can. At this point, everybody is in perfect position to defend this play, and that's when it's picked off to go the other way. Now if we switch it to the Mavs, you'll see the Warriors defend the Luka Doncic pick and roll totally different. When Luka initiates pick and rolls, he isn't the guy to immediately throw it over the top without running off the screen first. So with the Warriors not wanting Steph to get switched on to Doncic, they'll have him hit softly to then release off to take away a pass to Grimes, and then Curry immediately re-engages for the double. If you now look at the middle of your screen, you'll see Draymond playing what I like to call safety. Anything on the back line is his to take care of, and that's where you get this highlight play. Defense, defense, defense. I'm sure some of you are starting to see the excitement that can come when teams are on the same page when it comes to stopping the offense, and even if it isn't the full team doing the job, you'll have the MVP of the league picking up the ball near half court, and hey, I thought guys didn't play defense anymore. Yeah, people that say that are just incorrect. Some will just choose to point out bad possessions instead of these times where a star gets up in someone's grill to poke the ball out, and now the dunk on the other end is made easy. Now alright, we've showcased the defensive skill set enough for you to understand that these so-called boring plays lead to the special ones, so let me show you something a little different. As Trae Young gets ready to flow into this pick and roll, it's not this action that's in your face that I want you to pay attention to exactly. I want you to focus your attention on Kispert on the backside. The reason Kispert is so far over in help is the exact same reason we talked about earlier. Since he's on the weak side, he has to be the one to be ready to help if anything goes on this backside. Now with a guy like Trae Young understanding this, he'll come off the pick and roll and attack the paint aggressively, and bam! Look at where Kispert is at now, and look at the man he's supposed to be guarding. At this moment, this closeout is a far distance if the defender wants to get back, and if you look at Jordan Poole, he's currently getting set up to be back screened without even realizing it. Trae then makes sure to not telegraph this pass by looking out to Jalen Johnson to make this defender release off, and now with Kispert too far and help to get back, and Poole getting jammed up on the screen, this one right here is straight cash. I'm telling you, it's the smallest things within the offense that stack upon each other to account for the big moments. If Steph wasn't such a great shooter, it wouldn't make Kuzma lunge out hard as he does here, as this now sets him up to be shifted. And then if Steph wasn't a solid finisher, it wouldn't make Kuzma get off his feet as easily as he does to now give up a short push shot. Yeah, to always hear it takes no work to score in today's era is totally disingenuous, as it's more about the stars being able to manipulate the game on this side of the ball to curate the exact look they desire. Like when defenses guard Luka, they understand he can score from anywhere on the floor in the blink of an eye, so it's a must to get the ball out of his hands. Well, you can do a solid job at sending multiple defenders at him, but now you leave it up to one guy to make the right decision to save you or the wrong decision to break you. And that guy here is Naz Reid. With Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley both out on the man they're supposed to guard, this leaves it up to Naz Reid to either take the corner or cover Jackson Hayes. Now as we all can see, Reid isn't even looking at the paint, so by the time he notices a man open, he assumes the corners where Doncic will go with the pass. These two down low are more worried about stopping Luka, so now he's able to go back to Hayes for the slam. This manipulation here is why the NBA is beautiful. It takes patience, awareness, and the skill to be able to make defenders bend to the way you want, and it's not always going to end up in the most flashy plays. Sure, SportsCenter will grab the top of the top plays and give us all an experience that is filled with the max dopamine, but soon enough that wears off. And this here is why you have fans not being as invested or really being able to appreciate what they see on any given night. If you're to turn on the TV and actually pay attention to what's going on and maybe even watch the game back a second time, you'll see countless of plays that make you see how complex this sport is, and that in every action you could break it down a totally different way that still will result in the same outcome. Adam Silver has said one of the most degrading things about our sport, and regardless if you want to defend it and say, well yeah, the NBA games are long, people foul bait, and the best parts are truly only the highlights and blah 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 blah, my rebuttal to that would be that you have been tricked by the modern media to wire your brain to think like that, as when you understand the work, preparation, and the attention to detail that goes into every action, you will then see that the highlights are just something to grab you, but the real deal thing is everything else in between. If you enjoyed this video and want to help me keep making these, make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment of your opinion on today's video. And then be sure to watch my videos that come out in the future. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.